All right. Guess we're recording. Sounds on. Great. So, welcome everyone. This is Crucible Tarot. It's good to guess read for you for this month of July 2026. It's already halfway over. Can you believe it? My goodness, time just flies. Anyways, we're going to be reading for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant from now, I guess from the month of July, and just see what messages are supposed to come out for you. Prediction wise, I guess we could say, like, if it resonates as a prediction, that's one thing. But I find that more and more these days, these are more so just kind of messages that the people need to hear for that specific moment in time, something that resonates with that particular, zeitgeist of your life at the time. So, moving on, if you like what you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell so you don't miss any updates from future postings. Additionally, feel free to support the channel as you wish, and also watch out for scammers. You know the drill. So that's the deal. Anyways, looking into your reading, Cancer, we're going to be using this Moonology Oracle deck. This is by Yasmin Bolland, and then we have the dusty, trusty, traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck here as well. We're going to just go ahead and peer into some of the energies that have taken shape. The signifier for your reading for this month is going to be the disseminating moon. Take time to breathe out. So the disseminating moon oftentimes talks about a period in which you are just trying to nearly get to the end. It's kind of almost like a number 9 in the tarot decks. It's when you're nearly at the end, but it hasn't quite fully manifested. So it's important for us to kind of know how that's going to take shape in our lives at that particular period. And just going straight off the top of my head, actually, when you can see this is like it's nearly a full moon, you feel that the potential is there for things to go the way you need it to, but there is always a time that you need to take to rest. Sometimes when you're working hard towards something, it's important that you take a step back, rest, regenerate your energy, and then get back into it. And that will normally grant you better results than to burn yourself out quickly and bright, as some people like to do when they, I'm getting this Elton John's Rocket Man in, because I'm a rocket man. Playing in the back of my head, kind of insinuating that, it's time for you to take a step back and relax and recoup some of your energy. So take time to breathe out. You may have felt that things have been stressful in your life at this time. You may have felt that so many changes and so many things have been taking place to the point where you do need that rest or holiday or, time out to kind of meditate and think about some of the things that have taken shape. It is important for you to kind of do that so you can reflect on how much progress you have made as well. Getting straight into it, though, we're going to look at some of the information that has taken place in the recent past. So you have the Temperance card, which is the card of alchemy. Oftentimes when we look at the Temperance card, so we speak a lot of times about alchemy in this channel. This is card number 14. So we have 1 plus 4. That's 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 is GEVURAH, which is the 5th sphere in the tree of life in Kabbalah. So it's all about overcoming the difficulties from the past that have taken place in the scorpionic energies that have created these changes, these, catastrophes, these surprises and shocks within your life. And so temperance happens after the chaos of Scorpio, and then it allows for us to alchemize that energy so that we can come back into balance. That's why that balance needs to take place in such a way, and it's different than the balance of Libra. So with temperance, maybe you have gone through a shock and you're being patient as you alchemize and understand what has taken shape in your past. So that way you can get back to a more solid understanding of life. The reason why I say that is because you have the Six of Cups in the reverse. So Six of Cups often tells us about looking back to the past and reflecting on it in a positive light, cherishing memories, things of that nature. When it's in the reverse, you're not really seeing things in such a happy way or a happy light. You're looking at the past negatively, and you are trying your best to, I guess, see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not really showing up quite yet. So you're being patient with yourself as you go through this healing process, which allows for you to overcome that negative energy that you feel, or those negative emotions that you feel towards the past. Currently, in order for you to do that, what you were getting into is the Three of Swords in the reverse, and then the Queen of Swords, sorry. So a lot of sword energy, there's a lot of thinking about things that have taken shape. And in order to process it, you're getting clear on it. So in the Queen of Swords, you see that she's actually got her head above the clouds, one hand extended to allow information in, and then a sword to cut out anything that is negatively affecting the truth. And so by doing that, she's able to kind of transform her life by allowing herself to disseminate. Since we're in the disseminating moon, we talk about disseminating. It is about being able to be scrupulous, to be able to discern what is fact and what is fiction. That is going to be important for you in your life. So with that, with the pain that you've experienced in the past due to the Three of Swords in the reverse, in order for you to release that pain, you are disseminating. And one of the things that has held you back is in the past that, you didn't want to actually see it from a different point of view. So in some ways, maybe you felt that you were stuck in the way that you saw things. Maybe you felt that a situation that you endured, you felt it was unfair, so you kind of held on to the energy. Sometimes the Hangman in the reverse, it can talk about finally, removing yourself from being in a state of limbo. So maybe this is, in one way, you finally pulling yourself out of the cyclic stagnation that has afflicted your life for such a long period in time. By processing those negative emotions, that negative mental energy, you can then say to yourself, okay, I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to kind of digest the issues that have taken place in the past in order to make sure that I can move forward unabated and in a way that is healthier than in the past. So moving forward to the near future, what we have here, we have the Six of Wands, and then we have the Page of Pentacles, but it was on its side. So as victory is imminent, it's important for us to realize that we are making the progress that is needed to actually overcome those difficult emotions. And it's about learning the pragmatic things in life that can help you take that journey step by step. So, for example, put it in algorithmically to something that has taken place in your life. Like, for example, you lost a job, you feel negative about those feelings and that information, that shock that has plagued your life. And now what you're doing is you're trying to see things for what they really are, rather than your emotions and feeling, salty about the past. You're now saying, okay, let's bring this forth to the present, cut this down piece by piece, so that way we can get unstuck, see things from a different perspective. The best way for you to experience that victory, once you have learnt the lessons to pragmatically overcome that, that's when you'll start to get into that Six of Wands energy. And I think that's going to be a very positive thing for you. And that is going to be the way that helps you to alchemize lead into gold, as I always say. Lead being Saturnian energies that you have in the past, things that drag you down, things that limit and restrict you, turning it into gold, that's solar energy. So going from the black sun into the gold sun, from the unconscious to the conscious mind. And that is going to be the best way for you to overcome not simply what happened in the past, but also the restrictions and the limitations that you have taken on by holding on to those negative kind of mindsets. So it's important for you to see that. Additionally, from the outcome, you see that those lessons that you find, we have another 5. 5 being the Hierophant. The great teacher is the teacher of experience, knowledge, tried and true and tested type of things. The Hierophant is the one who's kind of become learned and experienced enough to where he can teach his acolytes the keys and the mysteries of the universe that you see here, the cross keys as at the bottom of the card, and additionally the triple cross representing the Trinity of the divine, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Could also be I am, I will, I create in the more Gnostic or Hermetic sense. It is important for us to then see from those lessons. We did this because we finally gave up on the things that were restricting our mind and causing us not to see clearly through the fog of our life. Sometimes we can hold on to things so strongly that we begin to identify with them to the point where our own mind and our own experience and our own perception of life takes a back seat to the pains and the struggles and the challenges that we've had to face. I just finished speaking about this regarding Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is taking the failures they've had in the past and learning to see them as successes for the present and the future. And in many ways, we can see this taking place with you. If there was something that really hurt your feelings in the past, by getting clear-headed with it, same way that the Queen of Swords would do, that allows for you to experience that 6 of Wands, which is the victory. The only way to do that is to relinquish control and getting out of the desire to hold steadfast to negative feelings. I wish things had been this way. Why didn't things go this way? And going through all the would've, could'ves, and should'ves. Strength in the reverse and 8 of Swords in the reverse. Both of those are number 8s, as you can see here. So the strength in the reverse is the 8, number 8. The infinity sign on her head is also a number 8. Then you have the 8 of Swords in the reverse. So the number 8 oftentimes talks about the number of the self. So in order for you to understand how to overcome and thwart these negative emotions, you have to go within yourself to be able to parse those things and to understand them, then release them. That is how you learn the divine lesson in all of this. I was speaking also to Sagittarius about the fact that currently, I feel like I've been going through some of those lessons as well. Learning how to react better when it comes to difficulties that, are faced in my life. Not crashing out or anything like that. And try not to, lose my integrity when it comes to these things. That can be a very difficult lesson for people to learn because, again, it's easy for us to play the victim. It's difficult for us to take accountability for our own actions. And that's a tough pill to swallow for anyone, anyone, no matter how learned or how much you've studied or no matter how much of a good person you think that you are. This is also kind of reflected in the advice as well. We have the Knight of Pentacles in the upright, and then we have the Page of Cups in the reverse. You're making slow and steady progress on your ability to communicate with yourself on an emotional level. And it's by being able to understand that when you feel disconnected from your heart, and when you feel that something is taking a lot of energy from your heart, it is important for you to step back within the power necessary for you to make that slow and steady progress. So the Knight of Pentacles is obviously a step up from the Page of Cups in the reverse, both because it's upright and also because it's practical. And also, it's a knight and not a page. So it's no longer just about communicating to yourself, it's about taking action, even if that action is slow and steady progress. Now, that said, take what you will from whatever it is that you've experienced, heartbreak, sorrow, job loss, any of those things, and understand what kind of power it takes over you in order for you to give that energy to that thing. We oftentimes fetishize our suffering to the point where we are giving ourselves life to the pain that we are living. And if you've ever experienced something, or if you've ever studied what a tulpa is, it's Tulpa. A tulpa typically talks about a thought form, something that we think about to the point where it becomes real. And with the Eight of Swords in the reverse, this is about getting over things that are not real, but understanding what truly is real. And not allowing yourself to allow your thought forms to overcome your sense of reason and rationality. So we want to, I mean, it seems like you're making the progress to actually do this. You are learning the lesson in the near future. Take the time to breathe out. When you feel as if you have compromised yourself or have not achieved something or are pining about the past or things like that, whether that's through limerence or that's through past trauma, it is important for you to understand that when you can sit with it, digest it, and then release it, releasing it in this way, that is when you can finally process it rather than just burying it and allowing it for it to fester in the unconscious mind. That's really your message here. I'm going to leave it at that. It's very, very straightforward. I think that's really nice as well. So, as before, this is Crucible Tarot. Thank you so much for joining today. If you like what you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell, leave a comment about some of the things that you may have experienced in the recent past that you are now processing, changing gold, lead into gold, and are finally overcoming those difficulties and learning the lessons. In order to get the keys to the universe, we have to first do the work, and that's going to be important for you. Thank you so very much. Until next time, VIAM, GEVURAH, AMBULO.